Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is now just 22 days away from its official release by Disney, Lucasfilm, J.J. Abrams and crew that is all set and ready to end the Skywalker saga and the sequel trilogy itself. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, one thing about Episode 9 that a lot of fans are either very excited about or very worried about or just very apathetic towards this movie is exactly how they are going to handle all of the different connections to the prequels and the originals, and even the character of Luke Skywalker, portrayed by Mark Hamill, and exactly how that's going to be used in the first, second, and third acts of this movie. Now, with that being said, we do know that Disney and Lucasfilm went through many different changes and adjustments for this film during the months of August, September, and October, where they wanted to really restructure the entire plot of the movie to really give it a different tone and a different feel to the audience in order to really cater to the general audience for this movie, which honestly I think was a big mistake. And this is where it actually gets rather unfortunate for actor Mark Hamill and his portrayal as Luke Skywalker in Episode 9. Now, specifically, what's really intriguing about this is that it's explained that through the many reshoots and rewrites of the film that took place during the months of August, September, and October is when many changes and adjustments were made to the second and third acts of the movie by Disney, Lucasfilm, and even Kathleen Kennedy. Now, it's explained that this was to reset the tone of Episode 9 and to restructure the entire plot of the film by J.J. Abrams. With all of the changes, many sequences were deleted, including 40% of Mark Hamill's scenes for the second and third acts of the movie, where one of which was said to include a segment in which Mark Hamill would actually portray Luke Skywalker as the character going up against Kylo Ren in the middle of the film in the form of a vision wielding a green lightsaber, where he would fight Kylo Ren with his crossguard lightsaber inside of a strange cave, just near the Dark Spire over in the Outer Rim. It said that the scene was a very action-heavy moment for both Hamill and Driver, and gave the fans the idea of what a full-on lightsaber duel would be like between Kylo and Luke. Even though Luke was only in the form of a vision, it said that this was all done to test Kylo Ren, where Kylo would be just near the very depths of the dark side, near the Dark Spire Tower. Now, it's explained that this scene was deleted by, of course, Disney and Lucasfilm to make room for the Dark Rey vision sequences instead in the second and third acts to fight regular Rey, and in the process of that change, Mark Hamill's scenes were actually deleted and cut from the entire movie that involved the visions. Another sequence that was also cut from Mark Hamill involved this segment in which Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker would introduce both Rey and Kylo Ren to the netherworld of the Force, where it's explained that this scene took around one whole week to film, and that the entire scene was also cut and was described to be Mark Hamill's best performance within the third act of the movie as a Force ghost that was deleted to make room for screen time in the Resistance battle over Exegol and more screen time for some of the new characters as well in the movie. This was a part of the big change by Disney and Lucasfilm to restructure the film and to create a different tone of the movie, and wanted to dial down on the Luke Skywalker scenes in the forms of flashbacks, visions, and him as a Force ghost. So let's go over a couple of parts about this and why this is yet again a very bad decision by Disney and Lucasfilm, and how it just really isn't going to be a very good experience for the fans to have less Luke Skywalker material or less Luke Skywalker content in the forms of flashbacks, visions, or him as a Force ghost, right? At the end of the day, when we think about the sequel trilogy, one thing that a lot of fans are either very disappointed about or very much, wanting more of is all because of the character of Luke Skywalker. That is the main thing here, and that's the main focus with The Rise of Skywalker. I know a lot of fans out there would have loved to see something significant, something completely significant for the character of Luke that would completely change our vision of how we view The Last Jedi. Now, this is yet again a failure on Disney and Lucasfilm's part, in my point of view at least here, where they deleted some of the most vital segments for Mark Hamill in the second and third acts of the film in order to allow more screen time for some of the new characters and for some of the Dark Rey segments. I don't know about you, but I think I would have really rather to see a full-on lightsaber duel between Luke Skywalker wielding a green lightsaber, fighting against Kylo Ren, even though it would be in the form of a vision. It would have actually given the fans the idea of exactly what a lightsaber duel would be like, a real one if you will, between Kylo Ren and Luke Skywalker using his green iconic saber. And that to me I think is yet again another big failure by Disney and Lucasfilm. The fact that they had shot this and completed the scene, and the fact that it was a part of the previous cut of the movie and was ultimately deleted in order to cater to more dark Rey scenes. I just feel like that the fact that they so far have 3 dark Rey scenes in this movie, and just because of one Luke Skywalker vision sequence, they couldn't really keep it in there because they wanted more dark Rey. I just don't know how I feel about that. I feel that they could have really done something amazing right then and there, that they could have really made that actually, stand out to the fans and given us an exact idea of what the saber duel would have been like between Rey, or should I say between Luke and Kylo Ren, as opposed to Rey. So, with that being said, the other piece that I think is a big letdown is the fact that they deleted the entire Netherworld of the Force segment, where Luke's Force Ghost would have this brand new power that was created by George Lucas, that essentially allows both Rey and Kylo Ren to witness the Netherworld of the Force, to allow mortals over in the mortal world to witness a different realm in the galaxy. And that, to me, honestly, was a golden opportunity for J.J. Abrams to create a new medium to the franchise and to really give something for Luke Skywalker, something very special for that character, that is now also completely deleted and cut from that movie. Again, this was to make way for screen time for the Resistance and their battle over Exegol, and some of the new characters like Rose and Jannah and Zori Bliss and characters like that I will be honest, just don't care about. I care more about the main characters like Luke, Palpatine, Rey, Kylo Ren, you name it. Those characters that are affiliated with the Force, the Jedi, the Sith, is really the glue of Star Wars when it comes to the Skywalker saga, right? So with Episode 9 now just on the horizon, a lot of fans are just very, very worried about this movie, or very apathetic toward the film, excited about this movie. There's a lot of different emotions and feelings going into this thing before it releases this December 19th/20th of this year. And the fact that, J.J. Abrams is really trying his very best in order to make this by far the best Star Wars film there is out of the entire sequel trilogy, I think the fact that they're trying to really do something to the point where it's also going to be the darkest Star Wars film out of the entire saga, I'm not quite sure if they'll be able to pull that off, but by deleting the Luke Skywalker scenes, it just shows the incompetence of Lucasfilm and Disney and even Kathleen Kennedy. The fact that she is the president of all things Star Wars because she's the head of Lucasfilm, I think that it's definitely time for somebody else to take over. Whether it be Kevin Feige or Dave Filoni or Jon Favreau, get somebody else on board to serve as president of Lucasfilm to deliver Star Wars in a different direction, which, by the way, in case you guys did not know, after Episode 9, that is indeed the plan, is that Disney and Lucasfilm want to actually reset the Star Wars franchise. Basically, that means they want to handle Star Wars in a different way. Now, does that mean they're going to handle it in a different way in order to cater for fans that have a problem with the sequel trilogy? That is a big question open on the table for discussion, but nonetheless, they will be treating the future of the franchise differently by creating a new Star Wars universe, starting with Disney Plus, that eventually leads into the new Star Wars trilogy, and a handful of other Star Wars projects out there, where essentially they are going to be emulating the MCU, right? The Marvel Cinematic Universe, where all these different movies and TV shows tie directly into each other and cross paths with one another. That's exactly what they are going to be doing with Star Wars, and I'm not just quite sure how that's really going to work, because the MCU is the MCU, right? Because comics already exist before that, and it just makes sense. But here, this is brand new material for Star Wars. This is brand new content that they're not basing it off of comics, books, or novels. So that's the one thing that I think might make it feel a little out of place, but we'll have to wait and see exactly what the future holds based on the success of Episode 9 and exactly what that will determine the future of the actual franchise for Disney and Lucasfilm. So, with that being said, I would like to hear what you guys have to say about the character of Luke and the entire situation from Mark Hamill. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.